This is going to be a super short video today with the SWEEDMOOR 6.5 by 55 Ackley Improved. It was brought to my attention on Instagram that a gentleman commented on one of my posts. It was the post where I posted about shooting the cowboy with this thing, or not the cowboy, the coyote with this thing. It's been one of my dreams for about 10 years to take an animal with this thing, and that dream was realized about last week when I got a coyote, and it was awesome. It was one of the best days I've had out here. It was tremendous in every single way. So I posted it on Instagram, just kind of like this happened and it was fucking awesome. It was about a 250-yard shot and it just fucking dropped this coyote. Beautiful animal. It was a great day. And I posted a picture of my brass. And a guy commented, and one part of his comment made sense. The rest of it didn't, okay? One part of his comment that made sense was, it looked like you've got some cratering on your brass, on your primers, which, fair point, that is a pressure sign. The next part of his comment was very confusing because he said, dial it back and you'll still be able to get 1,400 foot-pounds of energy at 1,300 yards. I was like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? I was like, I don't know what kind of gun, like I don't know what kind of round. That has to be close to a Lapua Magnum that gets 1,400 foot-pounds of energy at 1,300 yards. So, I don't know. 6.5 by 55 doesn't do that. It runs out it goes down to about 1,000 foot-pounds of energy at 700 yards. So, yeah, I don't know what the hell that guy was talking about, but the first part of his criticism levied is valid. When you get cratering on your primers, sometimes it's indicative of pressure signs. So you've loaded your ammo too hot, and I do hand load. In fact, all of these are hand loads. But here's the issue with that. This rifle is a Remington 700 from, I don't know, like 2008. And that's when they got real cheap. It was real good for people like me who wanted to get a Remington 700 action on a real cheap budget and do everything that I did to it, like put an aftermarket stock on, put a $2,500 scope on it, with a $500 Krieger barrel, put it in get an aftermarket trigger and stuff like that, and just make this thing a monstrously accurate rifle. So this was chambered in 270 when I got it. We immediately ripped off the barrel and put another barrel on it and chambered it for 240 Weatherby Magnum. And you want to talk about a screaming demon of speed. I think there was 87 grain VMAXs going, I don't know, like 3,400 feet per second. It was nuts. And we hand loaded for that as well. And then I decided that I wanted to get a 6.5 caliber. So we decided on 6.5 by 55, gunsmithing ourselves, did all of that. The problem with this is that Remington 700s from this era have, I won't call it a problem, it's a quality control issue, where it's either their firing pin hole is too large or it's chamfered in a way that when you fire ammo through it, it gets these primer cratering. Now, because the firing pinhole is chamfered like that, it does this on every single round, no matter what your pressure is. So, from what I understand, it doesn't do anything to the gun. It doesn't do anything besides create a false pressure sign that you just can't use primer cratering as a pressure sign anymore. You have to go with other signs such as a flattened primer. So when you go up to certain pressures where you're exceeding the limit of what you should, the primer basically fire forms to the primer pocket, and it just creates a seamless. Flat primer across the back of the barrels. And of course, you've got stuff like sticky bolt. Where it's hard to lift. I have never gotten either of those things on any of my hand loads. That being said, primer cratering has happened on every single round since I bought this rifle. Like I said, it doesn't affect the rifle or anything like that from my research. You just can't use primer cratering as a pressure sign anymore. And the fix to it is you either gunsmith the firing pinhole in some way that I didn't really understand, or you get a new bolt. Get an aftermarket bolt, everything gets solved. No problem. So that gentleman who commented on Instagram, I'm going to test whether or not this firing pinhole craters on every single shot. Like I said, ever since I've gotten this rifle, I've had firing pin cratering on every single round, even work uploads and stuff like that. So I have a load in here with my 140 grain burgers that is 4.5 grains short of the load that I have right now. There is not a whole lot of load data on 6.5x55 Ackley improved. It is very much a round that, not a lot of people shoot. But there's a whole bunch of load on 6.5x55. And I believe the max load for 6.5x55 is 47 grains or something like that of what I'm shooting right now. And I'll put up Nosler loading data and the Hornady loading data on the screen right now to show you that for regular 6.5x55, it's lower, and then you do the fire form, the 40 degree shoulder, and get a couple more grains of capacity, and that allows you to push that bullet faster and put more powder in there. So I'm going to be shooting this at 6.5x55, not even max loads for that. So we're going to see if the firing pin craters. We're going to see if I'm wrong. Like I said, I don't think that I am, but we're going to test that right now, and we're going to see what happens. And I'll put up a picture of what the firing pin crater looks like on my full power loads, and I don't even think it's full power. I could go further than that. I've actually done a 0.5 grain more, and I didn't get any pressure signs besides that firing pin crater. But let's do 46 grains of the load that I'm currently doing, and we'll check the firing pin. We'll check the primer after that. So we're gonna load. I've got two loads. I've got 46 grains and 47 grains. So let's do 46 grains at first, and we'll see what the firing pin looks like. And I'm just gonna fire this into the into the berm out there. Okay. Ooh. Oh. Damn it. Okay. 46 grains. Safety's on. So normally my 6.5 by 55 loads go 29.50. 29.50. That was going 27.27. And we still have the same firing pin or primer cratering that we do on my full power loads. So I'll put the picture, actually, you know what, I'll take the camera right now. Not really going to be able to see that, but I will include a picture of the firing pin, or the primer. I keep calling it the firing pin. There we go, 2 pictures. And then we're going to do, now we're going to do 47 grains, even though I should have made my point about the firing pin hole. So that was 27.56. And we've still got cratering. Exact same cratering. I'll take a picture for proof. Yeah, so and then I'm going to go ahead and do a full power load of Ackley Improved. And I'm going to go to this ram, which is 2.6. 2.6 mils, and I'm going to smack this ram. So that was traveling at 29.50. Or 29.40, which is right there. And I missed high. Interesting. Hit it. There you go. Let me do one more, because it's fun. High again. Oh, you know what? It's fucking 81 degrees. Let's dial it back a couple of tenths. Yeah, since I last shot, it's warmed up a lot. Dialed it back 2 tenths. Let's see what happens. There we go. Hit it. Last round. God. Smacked it. There we go. Yeah. So it's been a couple of days, and I since I last shot, and it was in like the, high 70s, and it's like every bit of 90 degrees right now. Even though the sun's going down, it's warmed up quite a bit. So I just needed to take a 1/10 and a half off of that, and we were all good to go. But I mean, all of these, the important thing is that all of these craters look exactly the same. And that's just because of those Remington 700 firing pins or firing pin holes that were, I have yet to figure out why they did it. I don't know whether it's a quality control issue. It's probably right after Remington got sold to some random, probably Chinese company, and they started producing those really, really shitty Remington 700s that you could get and, you know, turn into a really nice gunsmithing project. But yeah, I mean, it's the same thing every single time. So while I agree that that can sometimes be indicative of a pressure sign, overpressure, for this particular rifle, that is an unreliable indicator on a primer to indicate that your round is overpressured. So I tend to do sticky bolt lift, and I've had that before where it's like, ooh, okay, let's not shoot any more of those, let's dial it back. I've had flattened primers, not on this rifle, but yeah, I think that I'm well within specs of pressures for my 6.5x55 Ackley Improved. And that is really the load that that really shoots really well out of this rifle, and really just drives tacks and stuff like that. So obviously that's unique to some Remington 700s, especially those where the quality control was not as good as it should have been. But you know, the loads that I'm shooting are fine. Obviously, I don't think you would want to shoot them out of a regular 6.5x55. But when you've got the extra grain capacity out of 6.5x55 Ackley Improved with the 40-degree shoulder, I think we're good to go. So I dialed that back 4 grains, and I still got the same cratering. So yeah, everything's fine with this rifle. Got a beautiful coyote the other day with it, and it's great. A 21-pound rifle coming out of a fucking lugging that around in the desert to get a coyote. That was awesome. But yeah. Anyways, a little bit different of a video with the SWEEDMOOR today. Probably have a couple more videos of the SWEEDMOOR series. I'm gonna see how many videos I can make out of this thing, and we'll go from there. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you later. $29.92. That is screaming fast.